All right, Big Bang. Today is Thursday. It's May 11th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Classic movie watch Thursday. If you follow, I only plugged it on Tuesday, unfortunately, because we had to pre-record the other stuff. So hopefully you guys followed along on social and we saw that we're watching Requiem for a Dream for the first time. We actually just finished it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So it's myself, it's Chief, it's Danny. That was the first time we did it that way. We all watched the movies together, same exact setting, same exact experience. A lot of people warned us.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk to you right now.
Why?
Because that was so fucked up, and it was your idea, and
you made us watch that movie at 3 p.m.
I'm not cut out for movies like that. I feel like some people have the brain where they can.
I mean, it was a heavy movie.
Yeah.
So I was thinking too, the movie I forgot to reference beforehand, when everyone's like, "Oh, you don't have to you're not ready for it. It's fucked up." Because I knew it involved drugs. Have you guys ever seen the Basketball Diaries?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I have.
Yes.
I know it's DiCaprio, right?
Yeah, it's Leo Wahlberg. One of my favorite movies.
You're a sick fuck.
What? It is a good movie objectively.
Yeah, but the way it makes you feel, it's like.
I didn't know that was about drugs. I thought that was a wholesome movie about basketball.
Oh.
Yeah, so did I.
And then it's not. You should watch Basketball Diaries. So
pass. If it reminds you of this movie, fucking pass.
Maybe in another 4 years, once my brain gets back to normal.
All right. Does anyone want to start here?
Yeah. So I felt like I was having a seizure just from the way it was shot, the entire time. It was it felt like the whole thing was filmed with TikTok. That's how it was. Quick hits. Back and forth, different scenes, the heavy drug usage, the sound effects, the whole thing was like I'm not on drugs, but I felt like I was, and it was there's obviously I'm not a drug guy, so I'm gonna feel like a fucking dork here, but a lot of heroin, a lot of coke, a lot of amphetamines and stuff like that, but they show the mother who loses her mind thanks to some kind of prescription amphetamine issue, weight loss pills. But that's kind of how I felt. I felt like I was on uppers the entire time.
Yeah, I think that was intentional, right? They made a very chaotic movie to kind of make you feel like you were in it.
I felt like I needed a seatbelt.
Yeah, I mean, it was really. I mean, I love Aronofsky. He was the director. If you guys have seen The Whale, if you've seen Black Swan, if you've seen The Wrestler, he's one of the best, and he did a pretty great job there at the end. I thought, really piecing the chaoticness. Is it a word?
Chaos.
The chaos. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think they both work. Honestly,
the brain is rattled. I think he had a great job. He did a great job projecting the chaos that was unfolding between all four people.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it kind of tied it all back to it brought him back to their sense of peace in a way where it's they were all, well, except for maybe the Jared Leto character, but he was chasing something, then he lost his arm and he just falls off a cliff, and I don't know if that's supposed to be he's dead or gone or whatever, but
his love wasn't there for him anymore.
Yeah, and it cost him everything, literally an arm.
Yeah,
use that left arm, bro. Why would you use that one?
I mean, which character would you say would affected you the most?
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
She's a nice girl, beautiful girl.
Yeah.
The whole world in front of her. And where the mother was kind of losing it already, right? And she had this kind of sad life where she watched the same program over and over and over on a shitty TV in a shitty apartment with all alone. Her life was tough. Jared Leto was a junkie from the beginning. But he was they're talking about how she has nice parents, and Jennifer Connelly, a young Jennifer Connelly that, even Blood Diamond Jennifer Connelly, one of my all-time dream women. Okay, I think she's so this beautiful girl, and she just, the way that she ends up, which is a drug fiend, a whore for drugs.
Yeah, which I'm obviously not going to argue against that. However, for me, it was the old lady.
Me too.
Yeah.
All I heard about this was that it was about kids doing drugs. Was not expecting the mother plot line
at all.
Well, I think that was important to like show how it's legal drugs too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's you have your drug dealer on the street and you have your drug dealer in the doctor's office, and you can end up in the same place.
What I think hit me the most was when she was on the train. Because it's like we see living in Chicago, we see people like that all the time. We don't ever even think about a backstory.
Yes.
Yeah, they just like appear there. Mm-hmm. Like they've always been crazy.
And it was very.
I actually felt like I had like guilt about that.
Yeah.
Same. I took the red line yesterday, and there was a woman who was like clearly off her rocker, like something wrong with her, and she was like bumping and grinding and yelling. I'm just like, this fucking woman. And now I'm like, man, like she probably has a son that she hasn't seen, and she probably, you know, like.
But at the same time, you can't really get through to them.
You can't. But like you wish that there was a way. That's like the other thing too, where it's like, I really feel like in a country as wealthy as America, things like this just should be impossible. Like we should be able to have like protections and systems and education and jobs where people don't feel such despair and hopelessness, and they're trapped in their apartment with no sense of community, or, you know, like, and then like her thing was like, oh, I'm sitting in the middle in the sun when I sit in a lawn chair with her like old lady friend like that. I don't know. There's got to be, if this is like, I don't know how much of this is even real. Can you lose your arm from heroin?
Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah, look at that.
Like just like a bad infection that goes crazy. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, but it's like I feel like there are like this should just be impossible. Like that was like my takeaway. Like this, I'm sure it's based in reality, real stories, especially like the girls and things like that. But to me, it should be impossible in this country.
Yeah.
And
like I agree. So we're both on the side of the old woman.
Yeah.
You're on the side
definitely.
of Jennifer Connelly. Like I said, I'm not going to argue against it. However, I feel like we've seen that before, like with Taken, and like you've seen that dark underbelly of unfortunately what can happen to people who are either in trafficked or if they're on drugs or whatever. But that, like you said, like the train, or just walking into that when she was at the TV station, wherever she was just in an office building, and everybody's look on their face, like, and then the cops come in, like, people have definitely like
100%,
yeah. You know,
well, and I guess like the reason why I went with Jennifer Connelly is because like her life's over before it started. That woman, the mother, she was holding on to memory. She was talking to Seymour, her husband. She was talking about her son. Like there was a moment in time where she truly had what she needed, and she had you would think some level of joy where she had, she was married, she had a baby, she probably had some level of happiness. Jennifer Connelly never got there.
However, I do feel like maybe they didn't do as great of a job setting her stage.
Connelly's?
You first see her and she's breaking into their building. They're ripping the alarm off on the roof. Like she wasn't
necessarily innocent.
Yes,
from the
exactly.
start.
Like if they showed it more backstory of like the much-to-do family, maybe I feel the same way with you. But they did show from the jump, the older woman, they did show her hiding from her junkie son, who
steals her TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, and drug addicted, I probably shouldn't say junkie, but, they show it right away. So it's like, damn, you already feel for her there. And then when you see she gets hooked on it, and especially there is something to be said for it being done like legally.
Yeah. But I also, that's true. But like the Jennifer Connelly, I think that was probably intentional too. Like her parents are so distant and care so little that they have this young girl that she's like, all they can offer is money. Like money's never been a problem, but she doesn't feel close enough to like go to them. That at least to me, it felt like we're going to intentionally just not have these people part. Like she's already just looking for love and attention, and she'll get it in all the wrong places. And I thought that was intentional. Like we're not going to show what her family was like, because I think it might make you hate her in a way. Be like, you're this privileged, like you grew up in this place, and you ended, like I kind of felt like not having her well-to-do background story, and then she shows up and she's like breaking the alarm and doing mischief was intentional.
Also, like, yeah, they were young, dumb kids, but everyone generally knows what's going to happen if you start doing heroin and crack. The old woman probably did not see it coming at all.
That's true too.
Yeah, not at all.
So like they did it to themselves. She didn't really do it to herself.
And the old woman got a warning from her son too.
Yeah, and she had such a slow burn, you know. And I also thought just the storytelling on her whole situation was better than the other ones. The other ones I felt got a little clunkier, like between the middle. Like it's like, oh, like this guy, like they ran out, and then all of a sudden they're in a line with the truck, and then they're driving.
Yeah.
It was a little maybe harder to follow.
I thought it was just showing like. Well, that was like the other thing too. It was like the old woman, and maybe this depends on your perspective, but she had a false hope about like my whole life would be better if I just go on TV. Like everybody in the building, all these other sad old ladies who sit outside in lawn chairs, like they care that she's on TV. People care about me. And like it was like a social status thing, but it's probably based on false hope.
Yes, so there was more to it. It wasn't just the.
So they had a hope and a dream as well that they were chasing. And it's like you're chasing false idols in a way, you know. It's like, and I think that's kind of maybe, you know, I always pull up religious themes, that Catholic background, but it is like, you know, don't chase after, don't worship false idols, because the drugs and the money in the store and all that stuff, like, and the being on TV and the social cloud, those are all like kind of like those are trappings and those are false idols, and if you go for those, you know, that's how you go astray.
Yeah.
But like they both had a sense of hope, and you felt like, at least to me, like the Connolly and the Jared Leto character, like their hope was something that was more real and more tangible. They're going to build a business. They're going to do, you know, this store, whatever. They're going to do it together. They're going to have this beautiful life. Where the mother was like, I just want to be on TV one time. And I don't know if that makes, to me, it's like the true hope that gets snatched is worse in a way.
Did she start taking the pills because she knew she was going to be on TV?
Yeah, she had to fit into the dress.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, if you're a 7-year-old widow, I mean, sure, you can lose weight, but to be resorting to pills, it's a little late.
Yeah, but her friend on the lawn chairs pitched her like, yeah, just take these, you'll be fine.
Right.
But even the doctor, comes in 2 seconds. We'll take care of that. Fill this prescription. Hey, I'm starting to lose my mind. The fridge is acting up. Yeah, take this. You know, and I think that's that is a genuine and real problem.
Well, yeah, that's another thing we've talked about on the show. It was like it had dope sick remnants. You know.
Yeah, totally.
Have you ever seen that on Hulu?
The first time the doctor walked in, you see he doesn't even look up from his clipboard at her.
Yep.
Very intentional.
Little shit like that they did a good job on. Another medical thing I thought they did a good job on was the people who came to feed her and restrain her. They were talking about blackjack, just having such a casual conversation because that's their life. Like they have to deal with people like that all the time.
They're on an assembly line.
But to see it from her brain was like pretty harrowing.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
And just in that last evil montage, like you could see everyone was laughing at each one of them in the background, kind of the prison guard, the guys feeding her, the whatever the fuck was going on with Connolly, the gangbang thing.
Yeah. Everyone had that. I did not know Marlon Wayans was in the movie.
Me neither.
I didn't know Jared Leto was going to be in it.
I didn't know Jennifer Connelly. Can I tell you something stupid? I thought it was Zac Efron for a second. I'm like,
really?
Nope, this movie's too old for that.
I knew both of them were in it.
Connolly and Leto?
Yeah. I knew both of them were in it. However, Marlon Wayans, I mean, this is like right in the middle of like scary movie territory. Like I feel like my kid brain would not have computed this way back in the day.
Or even Shooter McGavin.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck, Shooter?
Yes.
Like, so I've only seen that guy in 3 movies now. He's like the meteorologist in A Perfect Storm, which came out about this same time. Happy Gilmore in this. So
the same exact thing with seeing Leo and Mark Wahlberg in Basketball Diaries, like 2 now huge actors going into like a.
So was Basketball Diaries before Titanic then?
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah, probably not by much though.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking up Ellen Burstyn, who played the older woman. She's in a bunch of shit too. She won Best Actress.
For that?
For Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Oh.
In 1975, she was nominated for her role in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And also, it's just like, that was like the other medical thing where she signed the form to do electric shock therapy. And it's like, look, she is clearly mentally incapacitated. Like, she should not be. I don't know what the process should be, but like, she is in no state to give consent on some.
Yeah, you got her
like
strapped to a bed right now.
Yeah, but here, just put your John Hancock down here. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
No, not at all. So yeah, I mean, it was.
Don't watch it, I guess, would be my.
Don't watch it before you're going to a Cubs game.
Yeah.
Which we all are.
Yeah.
Also, don't do drugs.
Please.
Like, that's like one of those things where I often feel like, oh, like, not cool, because I've never been a drug guy. And then I watch things like that, and I know like I have maybe a tinge of an addictive personality, and I'm not really like afraid of things. So like, I will do things like recklessly, or like, I'll figure it out, it'll be okay. I never worry about stuff. So I feel like if I had dipped my toes into that world, it would have been like bad news.
I think for a lot of people,
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
a lot of people, no doubt about it. Trying to think of anything else that we could kind of get into from the movie. It's just so. We debated too, like if it was better to do these fresh or not, because certainly things we're going to think of later on.
This is one where you might actually need time to process it.
Yeah, right. Because I'm sitting here now, I'm like, fuck.
See, I'm still in a gaze.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to just finish this podcast and then never think about it again.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I enjoyed it though. Like I
You would.
I enjoyed it from the standpoint of like I thought it was a good movie.
I thought it was a good story. I don't, like
that's a good movie.
A compelling story.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. But it's like a weird thing where it's like, I don't know if I was ever like entertained, but like I'm struggling to find the word for it, but it's like I never need to see that movie again.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
Everyone said that too.
Yeah.
That movie did 0% to help my life in any way.
Oh, I don't know about that. Well, at this stage of life, but like I feel like this could be like a PSA for like, hey.
I got that from Basketball Diaries.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
No, but yeah, obviously, don't do heroin.
I've had like friends, a person I know who is from like a well-to-do, nice family where I know like another one of the family members, and she's great, and then the other sibling got into heroin.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you look at like the two siblings, so just the two of them, and the older one is like master's degree, like good job, like all that, and then the younger one is in all sorts of trouble, like all the time, like very serious, like so it's like you just wonder how like what happened. There had, it could be something when they're like 8 that kind of like sets them on a different path.
Yeah.
So just think of how dumb you were when you were 17.
Yeah.
Like you get the right manipulative person in front of you at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Boom.
It happened to a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a couple people too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
A good friend of mine, and I've talked before. Started drinking at an early age. I never smoked. Obviously, that's how I documented on the show.
Yeah.
And he was like one of my best friends, and he kind of got into it. And I was like, I don't know. For some reason, it was a bridge too far for me. Also, because I knew I was going to a high school that was drug tested.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll get into it. I was like, I don't know, man. You always read like it's the gateway. It's the gateway.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm not going to do it. And then he took a different path from me,
But that's like, and look at where he ended up. Pretty good, yeah.
And then what's funny is I saw, and we kept in touch. In touch, and then I don't want to give away too much because I don't want to out the guy.
Yeah.
I think he's doing better now. But I saw him at a party my senior year, and hadn't seen him for a couple of years.
College.
High school.
Oh, okay, all right.
And he's like, hey man, I gotta tell you something. I was like, what's up? He's like, yeah, you were right. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, you were right. He's like, you always said it could lead to other things. He's like, I was addicted to heroin for years.
Dude, imagine being going down the path so fast that by 18, you're like, hey, you were right.
Yeah, dude.
Like that. I feel like that's something you find out. Like you come to that realization later, 18, you're still like, but it must have been very bad in high school to be like, oh, that's fucking wild.
It was one of the, I don't know, it was a very profound moment for me.
Yeah.
To be like, holy fuck, dude.
I had a friend too who got into it, and it got pretty bad to the point where like his parents were calling my home phone asking where he was and stuff. But he's good. He did a full turn, joined the Navy.
Oh, good for him.
Good.
Boom. Good for him. Yeah.
But scary stuff. It can happen that quick.
Well, and they say that it is like if you do it once, you know, like you
can't apply the try everything once method to heroin.
Have you guys have not seen Mad Men, right?
No.
Well, there's a character in there that's like a season 1 Don Draper love interest. So like early, you know, so the first season starts in 1960, and then you know there's like, and it ends in 69, and in that time frame you have like that drug revolution and psychedelics and all sorts of things, and then heroin comes on the scene in like a bigger way in the 60s. So he like reconnects with her somehow randomly, and she's like, you know, admits to him like, I'm on heroin, and he's like, what's it like? And she's like, it's like drinking 1,000 bottles of whiskey while somebody licks your tits. And that was her, you know, like, so you're just so zoned out. But I don't know, like that line always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I was like, when did I tell a story about the guy on Reddit? Remember that? There's like a famous Reddit thread where someone's like, I don't understand how you could become addicted. Like, I'm going to try it for one time. And like slowly but surely you saw the guy's like post history start to spike and decline. And then it was just, you know, going up and down. And then he like came back later and he's like, whoa, I did this as an experiment. He's like, it actually fucked me up. I got hooked into it. So, yeah.
We're all beat.
Yeah. Oh, I am. Like it's every once in a while you come across something that like mentally drains you.
Yeah. This is probably not the most uplifting podcast for people listening this afternoon.
Yeah.
But that was
one other thing though. Okay. Like I do think that we have like this over prescription. Like everybody's on Adderall. Like so many people are on Adderall, and that like impacts your brain supposedly chemically the same way as Coke, but one's legal and one's not. And it's just like, it's like just I had a prescription for it. I just walked in and I was like joked it, and we called this guy Dr. Feelgood. He's like, you think you have ADD? I'm like, I think I do. This is probably when I was like 23, 24. He goes, yeah, a lot of people have it. Here you go. And it was like simple as that. And it's like a fucking, and it is like, I get it. Like you feel like, what's the Bradley Cooper movie where he's limitless, where you just,
NZT.
Yeah. You just focus all day long, get a shit ton of stuff done. But
that calm down, boy.
Yeah. Well, and I remember I would shake it out, and like my jaw would be like sore because you'd be like clenching your teeth, like just watching or, you know, looking at your screen, working for hours and hours and hours straight.
Yeah. The other thing too about the mom is that's how her last days are going to end. Like the movie ends off and he has his arm cut off, but he has a chance, you know, and she certainly has a chance to kind of get back on track. They all do, except for her. She
loses like her self-awareness.
Yes.
She's like smiling in the bed at the end. She's a crazy person now.
Yeah, but so did Jennifer Connelly. So they showed that one scene earlier in the movie where the young couple, the pretty people, are all curled up, loving each other on the couch, and then her last scene is like she's covered up with a big bag of heroin and cuddling up and making the same lovey facial expression, like, finally I got my drugs. And it felt like she was content with the way she got it, because the first time she's like a hooker for heroin, she comes out and she like leaves the elevator, runs out to the sidewalk and pukes. That wasn't the case the second time.
Yeah, she was.
When it was a lot worse.
Like You're right.
So I felt
that's a very good point. I guess just in my brain, you naturally,
you would hope,
you think like she has a chance to figure it out.
She has a chance, but she's got dark days ahead.
Yeah, whatever used to make you happy before, now it's just replaced with drugs.
Yeah. Well, and then they showed like the other girl who had clearly been there before in that scene, the party prostitution scene. She's like, oh, what do we do now? Remember the redhead, the strawberry blonde girl?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do we do now? And Jennifer Connelly didn't say anything that whole scene, but then you can just, like, the next week, the next party, Jennifer Connelly is going to be like, what do you want us to do now?
Yeah.
And
there was something very sinister about how the guy, I forget, his name is slipping me, what they called him.
I don't remember that either.
I don't know. I forget what they called the guy.
Is that Angel? They kept talking to somebody on the phone named Angel.
Yeah, I think that could be it.
Yeah.
When she's like, no, don't do this. Like, this was a one-time thing. It's like, all right, I'll see you on Monday.
Yeah.
You know, like he was still like,
yeah, he's like, I know.
You're like, yeah, sure.
That's
what they all say.
Yeah. And that was dark for sure.
Yeah.
I get definitely those two. For some Marlon Wayans' character, I don't know. There wasn't a time.
I actually was most hopeful for him.
Mm-hmm.
Hopeful, yes.
Yeah.
But as far as like the whole, like I guess maybe it's a theme of, you know, that's pretty predominant incarceration for black people in America, right? Like if you're in that, unfortunately.
Yeah, but they showed his mother 2 different times, and he was like, "Hey, Mama," like when he's a little boy, he's having this vision. "Hey, Mama, one day I'm gonna make it." She goes, "You don't have to worry about making it. You just love your mama." And he like curls up like almost fetal position and hugs her. And then when he's incarcerated, he's like having like he's sweating, maybe having like withdrawals or something. But he curls up in the bed with the same vision. So it's like, hey, you know what? Maybe when he gets out, he's had like his come to Jesus like realization that this is fucked. His friend lost his arm. You know, like I don't know. I was hopeful that when he got out, he'd be. That
the reform system would work for him.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you.
We all sound like just witnesses who just witnessed a horrific accident and have to tell the police about it.
Well, that's what, Harry, you watched it last night. Was there anything we're not hitting on?
Oh, you just watched it last night?
By yourself?
I mean, I just think our expectations of like, I was expecting like a Breaking Bad overdose scene. That's like pretty
that was
pretty
dark.
Brutal, but I don't know. I'm still processing it too.
I do agree with that. I was expecting more gruesomeness. I'm not saying everything wasn't. There was nothing gruesome because when we saw him with the last needle poke, I expected a million needle pokes. Like I expected, like we were going to see people shooting needles left and right.
All right, when he put that needle in the hole, I was looking at the door.
I squeezed my hands and I felt it. Don't get me wrong, but I expected more of that. I guess you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just the pupils dilating. Sometimes you didn't even know what drugs they were really doing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, kind of all of them.
Yeah.
You know, they showed them rolling a joint. They showed the lines of coke. They showed the heroin.
Yeah.
It's fucking tough.
Can you just leave me on free swims from now on? Not
this. We walk out of those and we're like, yeah, that was fun.
I mean, it sounds fucked. They should be showing that in Dare.
Yeah.
I think they do. A lot of people, when I tweeted it,
really?
Someone said like, "Oh, I watched this in my like."
I thought Dare was defunct.
We could be.
I don't know. Dare, my grade. When I went to, they did it in 6th grade. When I went to 6th, they moved it to 5th, so my grade never had Dare.
And you still made it out drug free.
Yeah.
But he got the message.
Yeah. How about that?
It's a gateway drug.
How about that?
At the same time, though, I don't know if you could process that at that young of an age. Dare is like 11 years old.
I had Dare in 5th grade too.
I think I did as well.
Yeah. And I was like, what are you talking about? I feel like I had health class around the same time. And I'm like, and I was about like sex. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
What, dude?
What?
It made me want to check out Coney Island.
You're so weird.
There was something about, and I also saw an interview with Aronofsky, and he did it from like Coney Island. He kind of like explained like his like thought processes and how it's where he's from and how like he really wanted movies to be set where it's from.
I remember watching like it wasn't a 30 for 30, but remember that point guard Sebastian Telfair?
Yes.
He went straight from high school to the NBA. There was like a documentary about him, like Lincoln High School. I think it was Lincoln High School. And they like followed him around and they showed him around, like he was from Coney Island. And I remember thinking, man, I'm glad I'm not from there. And Eddie sees Coney Island. He's like, get me to, they got roller coasters and piers and drugs. Fuck yeah.
So Ellen Burstyn, like I said, she was in The Exorcist, and I'm reading the Wikipedia now. And she goes, I don't think I've ever been this challenged in a role that was harder than The Exorcist. So
yeah, fuck The Exorcist too, by the way.
Is she in happy movies?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's watch that tonight.
Yeah. No. So yeah. Requiem for a Dream. That's
you think you'll be very affected by this for a while?
I mean, like, listen, we knew we knew a lot of this shit existed, right?
But like, are you going to be thinking about that arm for the next month, like once a day?
No, I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, but it's it exists, and people get themselves and end up in horrible positions. But like, there's something about seeing it that it just. Like it makes it, even though it's a fictional story, makes all the real ones more real. Like I'll read the news differently now.
Yeah.
You know.
And see, I actually do agree. I actually disagree with you when you say like you don't think about their backstory. Sometimes when I do see someone who's clearly strung out, I'm like, man, like especially like in a neighborhood like where they're probably not from, they probably shouldn't be, and I'm like, man, I'm always like, how did that happen?
Well, I have that thought where I'm like, that used to be just a little baby.
Yeah,
that was a baby.
Yeah.
You know,
I do think of
being
that.
a baby, being you know, like a toddler fucking around, being a little shithead, just like every other toddler, and then somewhere along the way, it went wrong.
Yeah, and one more thought I had too is when they had there was a stoppage. They weren't getting, the production was stopped. Mm-hmm. Shit went haywire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Could you
withdrawals
imagine?
kicking in.
Yeah, withdrawals kicking in. Could you imagine if they were like?
Well, that was the thing that pushed the movie to like the dark place.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it made me think, like, could you imagine if America somehow did stop the cartel transfer over, like it would be chaos here if they were able to, like,
actually curtail the supply.
Yes, it would be chaos, dude.
There's probably a little bit of that with the Adderall shortage.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people would be, the withdrawal after effects of people doing whatever they could.
Well, they say
to get money, to get whatever, would be really bad.
But they say that that's like one of the dark sides of legalization of weed, is that it ate into the cartel's profits so much when you have California, all these states going legal, that they can't sell weed there as much anymore. Or you know, who knows how much business they lost. So it's like, we got to get into the other stuff. We got to start pushing heroin. We got to get, and then, you know what, why don't you put fentanyl in the heroin? And, you know, and that's where it's like, you've seen this explosion of, what do they call, like in dope sick. Why am I blanking on the name of the
amphetamines?
No, not amphetamines, but it's like the downers. What's heroin? That movie fried my brain. Opioid. Yeah, the opioid crisis. They're saying part of the reason that has exploded is both because of like prescription drugs, but it's also the cartels are pushing them more because their lack of ability to sell weed in highly populated areas has forced them to look for other revenue streams, and they're saying like heroin's a gold mine. So it's like, you know, it's everything. You pull the thread here, you know, it fucks up something else somewhere else. So
yeah. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It went by fast. It was an hour 40, and I thought it was like I was in it the whole time.
Yes, but I was also like, can we please be done here?
Yeah. Like it was definitely heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy is the way I'd put it.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes score, audience is 93. Too high, too low, just right.
I said I had not one good thing happen besides the warnings of drugs, but yes, overall I thought it was a good movie, good storylines and everything.
I thought the acting was fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't like how it made me feel.
Yeah.
I'd say 93 is good. That's an A.
Actually, I thought Leto was okay. I don't think that was his best.
There's
role.
something about the way he just looks to me that I'm like,
okay, we got it.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like? I've said this about just sitcoms and movies in general before. Like Leto, complete drug addict, bum, but he's still like wearing a button up every day. That's not real life. You're wearing like a stained white tee.
Yeah.
He's like dressed to the nines while being a complete bum.
I liked it. 93 is hard to get to, but I'm gonna say just right because knowing the system, it was. I like the movie. I thought it was definitely worthy of a watch. If you've never seen it, if you can handle shit like that. So that's my final.
Yeah, if you're ever thinking about doing drugs, give this a watch.
Yeah, right.
Reconsider real quick.
Yeah, this and there's other movies like that too, where like it should be like required viewing. You know, that's the thing where it's like
they want to strap you down like the mother, put the leather arm restraints, and you prop your eyes open and make you watch this shit.
Like when in an age where like the Euphorias are like the biggest show, like people.
Do they celebrate on Euphoria? I haven't seen that show.
Do they celebrate
like
drug use
the
and
drug
shit?
culture?
Not necessarily.
Rue, like you see her going through withdrawals, and they showed the bad parts of it
for sure. But you know, like a lot of people will find that life glamorous of the struggle and the chaos.
That's why I just like being at home on the couch with the dog.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, I feel you. All right, then. We can end it there. Whew. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching. Probably wasn't the easiest show to listen to or watched if you watched the movie with us. So that's it. We'll be back on Monday. We will see you then.